We now turn to this. Police in Washington state arrested 30 demonstrators who occupied an engineering building. This is on the University of Washington's campus last night. The pro-Palestinian protesters were demanding the college cut ties with Boeing. The group also blocked off streets and set fire to dumpsters. At this time, it's unclear how many of those involved are actually students at the university. The case of a Columbia University student who was detained by ICE and then released returns to a courtroom today. You all remember this moment. The government is appealing a judge's order that led to this. This is Mohsen Mahdawi obtaining his freedom once again. He exclusively spoke with Lilia Luciano in his first sit-down TV interview. Watch.
What do you suppose, if you have any idea of why they wanted to do that instead of just taking you right away?
I don't know why. But what I know is this is a betrayal to the Constitution of this country and to the process. I've done everything the right way. I've gone through the process. I've applied the right way. I showed up for my interview. I shared and answered all of the questions honestly. And I said I am willing to defend and protect the Constitution of this country.
We've got CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez here with us now to speak about this. Camila, great to see you.
Good morning.
Today. So at this moment, a federal appeals court here in New York will hear arguments in the case of not just Mahdawi, but also Rameza Öztürk. That's the Turkish Turkish student at Tufts University, excuse me. Why are we seeing that hearing here, and what should we expect?
So in the case of Mrs. Öztürk, the federal appellate court in New York will be hearing argument over whether the Justice Department should be required to move Mrs. Öztürk to Vermont. That is what a lower court judge ordered ICE to do because she's currently detained in Louisiana at an ICE detention there. But that order by the lower court judge was stayed by this federal appellate court in New York. They will decide whether or not to extend that stay or to lift it, allowing her to be transferred to Vermont. In the case of Mr. Mahdawi, the Columbia University student, who was arrested by ICE too, the court will hear argument on whether the Justice Department has grounds to appeal the lower court order that led to his release. The Justice Department is saying that Mr. Mahdawi should go back to ICE detention because he poses a danger to his community, which was rejected by the lower court judge in Vermont. So we'll see how these cases play out.
And it really gives you a sense of how eager the government is to win in these cases.
That's right.
You've also reported that the U.S. currently is trying to negotiate deals with several countries, including Angola, Equatorial Guinea, to accept migrants whose home countries won't take them back. Help us understand what that is about.
Well, Errol, the Trump administration is mounting an intense and aggressive diplomatic campaign to convince as many countries as possible, regardless of their human rights records, to take as many people as possible from countries like Venezuela that limit or reject U.S. deportations. And we know that they have already brokered agreements with countries in this hemisphere in Latin America like Costa Rica, El Salvador, Panama, and Mexico to take third country nationals. But now we have learned through internal government documents that the administration has also been talking to countries outside of this hemisphere in Africa and Europe, countries like Angola, Eswatini, Equatorial Guinea, Moldova, Libya, and Rwanda to also take people from other countries. But there are a lot of questions legally and politically about how these agreements would actually work out if they are finalized.
It's incredible when you see the map that we just put up there, and it's really spread around the world. So remarkable that you were able to get into these documents and see that this is happening. We'll stay close to you to get more of your reporting. Camila, great to see you.